it seemed like you were like Neo, and you're like, no. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You're like, no.
The cop just starts crying. He's like, my father didn't respect me. And you're like, there we go, now we can.
Yeah.
And you actually pull the bullets out of him.
Yeah, you just sprinkle them on the ground. They turn into flowers.
Yeah.
Right. He goes in, he walks out of the bank locking arms with the guy.
They full on kiss. It's real sexy.
Yeah.
It's actually super
But
hot.
not homosexually. They just really
It's a full on platonic French kiss. It's the first ever non-sexual French kiss.
Oh, we created something, y'all. We created something.
It's time to get wild.
That was wild.
Welcome to That Was Wild. I'm Adam Macias, and this episode is going to be wild. This is a show where I talk to my wildly funny friends about the wild things happening in the world so you can learn from people's wild experiences. Because I don't even want to say mistakes, because this episode is not even about mistakes. This is about wild experiences. We have a banger of an episode today because we are talking to a very wild person. We have talking to two wild people today because I'm joined by a returning champion, the spiritual filthy man himself. It's Mort Burke. What's up?
What's up, dude? I love champion. It makes it sound like I won the podcast.
There will be a battle royale at the end of every year.
Yeah.
Which I should do that.
Totally.
I should do a battle royale. Everybody come in the podcast. Last person to leave.
I love assigning arbitrary competition to things. You know what I mean? America's the best at that. We're like, who can drink water the fastest for no reason?
And I think comedy should be a competition. I think it should be.
Yeah, you and the people from America's Got Talent. The only thing that's missing is three assholes telling you whether or not it's good.
Exactly. And I think I should be the arbiter of that. I think I have enough cred for that. Mort, how you been? You doing good, man?
Yeah, man, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Thank you so much again for coming on the show, especially for this episode, because we talked about a lot of crazy stuff. We got real crazy last time you were on. We talked about lots of spiritual stuff. We talked about, you said something last time that blew my mind, that you said male is doing and female is, help me out.
Yeah, so the masculine is doing and feminine is being.
Oh, god damn. It's so good.
And
so good.
we're, culturally, we tend to lean toward, we're out of balance towards doing and we don't know how to be.
This just needs to be stitched on a pillow and probably on a t-shirt as well, because you are a hilarious gem, but also you're filled with those great insights that even our a special guest today, that our third guest today, which we don't do very often, but I'm very excited for.
And I don't use the word hero often.
Yes,
but I'm gonna appropriately utilize that word.
We
for
do
our
have
guest.
we got a hero today because we spoke about a man.
He's like chill Batman.
He's Chatman. Nope, that's not good. Chill Batman. Chill Batman. We spoke about somebody who recorded himself during a bank robbery. I don't even want to do a heist because that requires probably like a pulley system and some costumes.
We gotta find out.
Well,
how cat burglary was the situation?
Was there how many oceans were there?
Just side. We all have ADD.
Yes.
I am gonna be excited when it's Ocean 700 and the entire movie is just introducing different characters and then it's over.
Yeah. Ocean's 300 and it's just Gerard Butler being like, "This is Sparta."
And he recorded it really kind of immediately after the bank robbery, but he was in the bank robbery.
You know how much peace I have? I'm at the bank and it's being robbed. This is how much peace I have.
Anyone else in the shop? Stay.
This is how much joy I have in my heart.
Do not move. Everyone, let me see your hands. Put your phone down. Turn away from us now.
All right.
We're going to find out all about the dirty details. He reached out after we posted a video about it that went viral on TikTok. It is Gabriel the Angel. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Gabriel the Angel, everybody. He appeared.
Oh no.
Cue
The angel music.
violins, you know.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man. We really, really appreciate this.
Like I said, man, the pleasure is all mine.
You got a wonderful podcast. It's almost like you were prepared for this. You got a wonderful podcasting microphone.
Yeah.
You got a dope ass hat. You got rose colored. You got sunny glasses on.
Yeah.
What's going on, dude? Like, first off, like, how has life changed since this video has your video has gone viral? Our video has gone viral. I mean, what's going on?
Since I have a spiritually filthy friend, I'll divulge a little bit. You know, things happen in the dark prior to coming to light. So prior to even this instance or this happening, I have changed internally, you know, and I have grown. And so all that I'm seeing is just the fruits of that, just the fruits of the labor of doing the work internally. And so this situation has changed my life because it's concreted this fact that, okay, things truly do happen in the dark prior to physically manifesting, if you will.
So
you know?
It sounds like what you're saying to me, some level of, I'll handle this, some level of shadow work wherein you integrated aspects of yourself. This is going to be a conversation that it's going to sound like we're speaking fucking Spanish.
Right.
We're already like 5 minutes in. We're talking about shadow work.
So you've integrated.
Let's go.
You integrated aspects of yourself, and it was this experience that made you realize, oh wow, I really have changed. I would have reacted differently previously had I not gone through these the internal experiences you're talking about.
So
correct?
As much power as there is in what you had stated, it's actually the opposite.
That means I'm wrong.
I disintegrated parts of myself.
Whoa. Okay.
I had to relinquish certain aspects of myself in order to ascend, right? In order to rise, I had to drop the lowest parts of myself, the people pleasing, the lust, the greed, you know, all of these parts that were holding me down, which to me, you can say integrating the higher nature of yourself. However, for me, it works best to say disintegration, absolving the parts of myself that I no longer needed, destroying what was no longer needed.
Yeah, we're talking semantics, and I love it. And I want to say, when I say integrated, I think that those parts need to be honored first. I think that what we do culturally is we tend to go like, I just won't be lustful anymore, and we really push it down. That's why I use the word integrate, because it's not just it's not a refusal exactly.
Okay. We're already so deep, and I love this. But let's back up a little bit. Let's back up a little bit, because just to bring the audience on this a little bit, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the day, right? So the audience at home who are watching this, they already saw your video, right? We just saw what I want to get into a little bit is, what I found fascinating is that a lot of viral videos, they spend so much time on hooks and stuff like this, like so this thing or all this stuff. You had this amazing thing of like saying, you want to know how much peace I have, which is like classic. Start with a question, right? And also an interesting question, right? And then the reveal of being, the bank I'm in is getting robbed, and I'm happy right now, which is like, what a twist.
You get me, dude.
What a twist, right? But also what I love about this is like, you're not even you were just being you in that moment.
Exactly.
And it was magic captured 100%. Now, let's talk about the instinct of doing all of that. Why pull out your phone in that moment to do that?
You know, I would have never had that reaction in the past. I think where I'm at now, I want to share it. You know, I'm finally at this stage to where I'm done holding it in and bottling it in and suffering in this journey by myself. You know, I'm finally ready to share what it is that I go through on a daily, moment to moment basis. And this was just a prime representation of that, you know. And for those like-minded, what it is that I'm saying is the constant pull that we feel towards our lower nature, this constant pull that it seems as though these forces work against us. So it's like when I say I am going to be peaceful, in that moment, it's like the forces of nature fall right on you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you could in that world, you're like, I'm going to be peaceful. And then the universe or something is saying, oh yeah, we'll try to be peaceful during this.
Exactly.
That's kind of what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And
a bank robbery, which hasn't happened since 1930. Like, was it Bonnie and Clyde? Who robs banks anymore?
Yeah.
Was there sacks with dollar signs on them that they were like carrying?
Yeah, right. Like,
and the story is so deep, you know, as I divulge into it, I'm sure you'll see what I mean. However, so leading up to this, I'm in my mode, I'm in my motion, I'm working.
Yeah, why? And you're also in a bank. Like, what, you don't have, like, why are you even inside the bank?
So I'm literally going to start a business account to fund my dream, right? Because I know I'm going to need a paydex score. I know I'm going to need all these, so
what is it?
I'm going to literally invest in myself.
What's your dream?
So,
what is it?
What's that?
What's your dream?
Oh, man. I'm gonna be the biggest artist this world has ever seen.
Oh, wow. Shit!
They've seen a lot of big artists.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, man.
Yeah.
So you're starting a business account to be an artist? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. So building my business. I've got a business at Gabriel the Angel LLC. And fully diving headfirst into that. And so I'm working this job at the steel mill. Taking away from my craft. I'm devoting myself to this current of currency,
right?
And so I'm literally there to start a business account. I step inside of this business, this bank, and I'm literally standing in the center, and I can hear somebody say, it's going to be a while, and so I'm standing in the center. I'm patiently waiting. I've got music playing in my head all day, every day, so I'm jamming, whatever. There might have been a tune playing on the loudspeaker. And so some time passes, and I hear from the left side of me, I hear somebody like yell out, like, drop your weapon or put your weapon down or something along those lines. And I'm like, well, I can't put mine down. So it must not be me he's talking to.
You look to see if you have a gun in your
hand.
There
is that funny instant of like when a cop is like, wait, did I do something? Or do I have a gun? No.
Am I robbing this place?
Am I robbing this? Yeah.
Am I in the wrong? So yeah, exactly. And my gun is God, is the universe, and
oh, my gun is God. Fucking shit. I need to work on my shit. You guys are like,
so I'm like,
you guys are making shirts
shout
left
out to
and right.
KRS-One for that one. I can't.
Oh, okay. Okay. KRS-One.
Shout out to KRS-One.
Knowledge rules supreme over nearly everyone.
So
that's what
I'm in there. I'm standing in the center aisle, right? And so they barge in. They're like, drop your weapon, whatever. So I realize, whoa, I stumbled into something peculiar here.
And that was the police saying that?
That was the police saying that. So the police yelled that out. I get a moment to like kind of analyze the situation. And then I look up and the dude is holding a handgun. So I'm like, okay. So I had noticed as I was standing there that he was pacing back and forth. He was watching behind him periodically. However, I let bygones be bygones. I'm not about to sit there and judge him or.
You saw a man pacing back and forth in the bank.
Yeah, you clocked him. You were like, all right, this dude's energy is a little bit.
And you're like,
I see this.
I can feel it,
Yep.
Maybe he's trying to start an LLC. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe he's trying to be the second biggest artist in the world. In which case, you guys could join forces.
Maybe he's trying to incorporate. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. He's doing an S corp and I'm doing a C corp.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I'm in there, happy and giddy, whatever. And so this is a testament to the message that I was sharing about the peace that I carry. It's like I could have had any reaction in the world. I watched everybody around me break down, cry. I watched them frantically yelp and scream and, oh my God, I witnessed all of that.
Sure.
And I was able to stay cool, calm, and collected.
Right.
And for me, that was it's like a centerpiece. It's like I literally feel invincible.
Yes.
You know,
and in a world that is so beholden to fear, I will say that I do feel like messages like this, where people are able to experience peace in challenging situations, is kind of a really important thing to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, well, you mentioned a lot of when people react that way, like with the crying and being afraid. I think a lot of people enter into situations in general not expecting to be like the world is harmful. Like we don't live
to see that from a
we don't necessarily live in the wilderness. Like the world isn't wild.
However, in a way, I was able to offer some consolation to those who may have needed it in that moment. I can remember a mature woman who was standing behind the counter. She was really frantic. I mean, to the point of like heart attack.
Oh, wow.
Possibly just by my presence being there and her being able to look up and see somebody be able to anchor in peace in that moment, I think it may have allowed her to continue, her journey. And, it's really important to me that we all get to where we got to go, There's
sometimes, you do need like I don't, maybe it's not like a heart of stone, but sometimes it's like, people in traumatic situations, there does need to be somebody who kind of anchors, and that is helpful. In
I think if something is modeled for us, then we can see that it's possible.
Yeah,
that's all. Human beings are amazing like that. Once we notice that something can be done, we're all able to do it.
Oh shoot!
Right?
It's that easy.
Yeah. Okay, so that woman saw you and sort of reacted to your energy. Was that after the police had like apprehended this dude? What was the the chronology? Yeah.
It was in the midst of all of it while it was happening.
Wow.
So I don't think anybody was really aware of what was going on except the teller that had been robbed. And so it's such a strange story.
Yeah.
So my mom got word that a teller at the bank had called her sister who worked at another bank and told her, I'm being robbed, or like texted her real quick or something to not cause. So she texted a coworker or her sister who worked at Huntington, who then called the police. So nobody inside called the police. It took for somebody at a bank caddy corner, like across the street, to call the police.
That's crazy. Yeah. It's always so funny when people like don't call the police right away. They call a family member. It's right. That's the distrust of police so much in America.
Well, I want to talk about that, the way the police were acting, but we can maybe get into
that. Did we talk about that on the show where it was like
maybe
there was a really funny moment in that video where I don't think actually we did, where in the video, and we could talk about how quickly you pulled out the phone in this, but in that video, you could just hear the police officer revert to his training where he goes, he says, is there anybody else in this house? He almost says, is there anybody else in this house? But he goes, is there anybody else in this in the bank? He said, like he just goes, like he's just so in like enforcer dog mode, you know what I mean? Like
in an energy that is different from yours. Like to me, that's the behavior of like people that are like police very often are traumatized, right? So they come in with this very similar energy that I thought the person speaking in the video was the bank robber because it had that attitude.
Oh, interesting.
Like I thought you were actually being robbed by that. And then when I heard it was the cops, I was like, oh yeah, and the cops are talking to people who just went through a traumatic experience. It's like the opposite of de-escalation.
Oh yeah, totally not. Yeah. Well, when I heard the guy, I had assumed it was a police officer because of how he was speaking to him.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, put the phone down.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a bank robber would not yell. I don't think. I think a bank robber would grab it from.
It goes in part with what I was saying about what happens behind closed doors or what happens in the dark. Like people don't see that. Yes, I was innocent, yet they're treating me like I'm guilty.
Yes.
They
totally, exactly.
They don't see that part. However, the level of peace comes from knowing that it's all going to work out.
Yeah.
It's going to work itself out.
You laughing at him was the best.
You know, as long as I'm able to fly,
no problem.
Right.
Yeah, no
you know,
Well, to me,
give him what he's asking for, and
That's
now
right.
I have to respect myself. I know my rights. You know, I know there's nothing you can do about me sitting here recording.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I protect myself. So I'm gonna record whether you tell me not to or whether you tell me to. So But along the lines of, you know, turn around to make sure that he felt safe enough to give me enough trust to not blow my brains out in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yes, which is absolutely avoid getting shot, which is its own weird maze of fucking behaviors you have to know how to do.
Well, I think the police officer was probably so stoked to be like, I fucking stopped a bank robber today. Like, how often does the police officer get to say they stopped a bank robbery?
Well, and
that's they're probably jacked off. They're like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, this is why I did this. You can't mess with me. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, put the phone down. You know, like, this is why they signed up for this shit. Like, good versus evil, bank robber, bad guy.
Right. And
there's any other bad motherfuckers out here.
Feeling that.
Yeah.
However, it's got to be in balance, you know, because it can quickly get out of balance, and you can let that power get to your head. You know?
100%.
Well, now you're the best thing ever, and nobody can tell you shit just
funny,
because
though. You could see that imbalance. You could see that imbalance in that video. You could see him like them taking that power. He just dominated a person, and he's like a mad dogging for somebody else.
I didn't even think about it.
You know, like you, man. You could see that in there. I think.
I didn't even think about it like that.
But
and it's all. I feel like it's all people playing roles. Like, you know what I mean? You get into this thing because you want to be the cop that stops the bank robberies, and then all of a sudden you're enacting this narrative in your mind and body and subconscious and all this shit. You know what I mean? And it's.
But you end up forgetting that. The important part is that nobody got hurt, that the bank was not robbed successfy.
Well, and I think it's very different than what you're doing, which is being present. You're not adhering to any weird narrative about good guy versus bad guy, any shit like that. You're like, oh, actually, what I see in you is a person who realizes that they are cared for and they're going to be okay no matter what.
You're just trying you're just like, I got peace. You're literally, to me, the way you describe that, I don't know why, because I'm just fucking crazy and like I'm so obsessed with this movie. But it seemed like you were like Neo, and you're like, no, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, no,
dodging bullets.
You're just like, nah, I don't want this. Peace.
Yeah.
And you're like,
the cop just starts crying. He's like, my father didn't respect me. You're like, now we can.
And you actually pull the bullets out of him.
You just sprinkle them on the ground. They turn into flowers.
Yeah.
Right. He goes in, he walks out of the bank, locking arms with the guy.
They full on kiss. It's real sexy.
Yeah. It's actually super hot.
Not homosexually. They just really were making
it's
love.
a platonic. It's a full-on platonic French kiss. It's the first ever non-sexual French kiss.
Yeah.
Oh, we created something, y'all. We created something.
I love it so much. So I want to pivot to something else real quick. So in another video, you said, now I don't know if this is true, and we can cut this, but you said you knew the guy, the robber.
Yeah. I grew up with him, you know.
What a small, crazy world.
Wow.
Dude, it's intense, man. And you know, you never really know who's who. And that's why it's important to realize that at the top, it's got to be you and you know, because you really genuinely have no idea. You know, you can think the world of anybody. And so my rule of thumb, trust that people are going to show you who they are. I'm not telling you to trust anybody. You don't got to trust anybody. Trust yourself first and foremost, but trust that you will be revealed as to who people are and their true intentions.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, so that sounds like you knew this motherfucker was going to rob a bank. That's what that sounded like to me. Okay.
Good people, I thought.
Right? Oh, okay. You thought this.
And the other thing about that is everyone is actually capable of everything. You get your back put up against a wall. You get hungry enough, any one of us will rob a bank. You know?
Yeah.
And you don't know what, like you're saying, you don't know what anybody goes through. You can leave, somebody can leave your life, you run into them 10 years later and you're like, oh, you're a completely different person.
And even when you point the gun inside and you start to look inward, you don't know how you're going to respond. You know, you're hungry. You don't know if you're going to go take somebody else's food if you get hungry enough? Chances are you probably will.
Yeah.
You know?
True. When did you recognize this guy? Did you recognize him when he walked in?
It was brought to my attention so I had no idea, even the following days after this experience. It was brought to my attention by another I would say acquaintance growing up. They had reached out and they were like, guess who that was? You know?
That's crazy.
And I was like, there's no way.
That's crazy.
At the end of the day, I forgive him. I can't say that I'll forget.
Yep.
I do.
It's a hard one to forget. Like, how do I know you? Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh.
Well,
yeah, but for my peace and my sanity.
Okay, and so for a little maybe closure on the story, did he get apprehended by the cops and taken off?
Oh yeah. The FBI's talking to me about it. They're you know.
Oh yeah, I guess it is FBI because of the bank,
big.
right? Yeah.
They're like, finally, we got one. It's been 6 decades. I don't know why I'm convinced nobody robs banks anymore.
Well, they ought to be smart not to. I mean, with the technology that they have nowadays.
Yeah, just hack it.
Yeah, I mean, they're just. Yeah. Well, I mean,
right.
I mean, the billionaires are the ones stealing at the end of the day.
Right.
Okay, so
we'll get there.
Let's talk about. So what I did notice that you this seems like this video blew the fuck up immediately, and there were you posted pretty consistently right after another with like a story time and then some more explanations. Like, so what was that like with that video popping off right away? And there were some instances of people commenting God is good and stuff like that. So seeing that you're how spiritual you are and seeing that level of a reciprocation, I guess, in your spirituality.
So I see where you're going.
What was that? So, what was that like?
Envision walking in the dark your whole life, right? You're literally just in the dark, you know, and you feel like you're really good at what you do, and you just can't seem to. Nobody else seems to see it in you, you know. I've been singing, making music, recording music, putting my own music out, performing. I've been doing all of this my whole life, like literally my whole entire life. And one day, after you basically give up on caring about it, like I don't even care anymore.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna make music. If anybody likes it, great. If nobody does, great. I don't care. I love it, and that's what matters. So, pretty much right after I came to that idea in my head that I was just gonna make music regardless, then a light turns on, and now you can see.
Yeah,
and so getting all of this attention is like. It's the universe's way for saying like, this is why I had you in the dark for a while, because you were being crafted into the person that you needed to be to make the impact that you need to make. And so I know how much it hurt. However, it really did a service for you, because now you're so concrete in who you are. You can't be swayed any one way. The attention doesn't make you, because you came to terms with the fact that you may never have it.
Yeah.
You may never see anything from all this work you're putting in.
Kind of reminds me of Taoism and Lao Tzu, of saying like the art of not trying. If you try to grab something so much, it actually makes it harder to attain. And you can actually attain more by just being and having the universe kind of cycle through your kind of wheel of like your turn to do something.
That push and pull, right?
Yeah, like your opportunity will kind of cycle through of while you just kind of be yourself, and eventually it cycles through it to be it, while also being like, optimistic that it comes through again, I guess.
Right. And it's Mort, right? It's Mort.
Yeah.
You hit the hammer on the nail when you had corrected me about the integration and disintegration, because it's a lot of knowing when to push, knowing when to pull, knowing what to push and knowing what to pull. So it's like the universe will be clear with you when you're trying to pull something towards you that you're not supposed to pull.
Yes,
you're going to get hurt.
That's right.
Something's going to happen, and you're going to know. So the first instance is going to be resistance, right? You're going to try to pull it towards you, and it's going to resist. And that's the universe's way of saying, sit down, child. Let me do this for you. You're going to hurt yourself by trying to pull this to you. And so then that's, and then you pull or you push it. Yeah. It's a balance between, love and hate.
And sometimes this beautiful, if you're fortunate, this beautiful thing happens where you don't receive the attention until you're ready for it, which is what you're talking about. And often, hopefully, until you have something to say that is authentic to who you are. And I feel like what you're talking about to me is about intuition, knowing when to push and pull. And that requires, I think, something that I work on and I'm still working on, which is to know to follow your own intuition. You need to be able to be in your own body.
Yeah.
And I've been historically so sort of like mentally dictated everything that's happening.
And I don't say this to overwhelm anybody. However, you have to take it all the way down to the details, to an eye twitch. Question where the eye twitch is coming from.
Yeah.
To a sound in your stomach.
Yeah.
Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
And you will begin to answer all your own questions as you envelop into yourself. You know, why am I naturally wanting to smile? Where is this coming from? It's coming from the beautiful energy that I'm receiving right here in front of me.
It's so funny. I am like literally discovering that version of myself like very recently of like, why am I feeling this way right now? And it's like, as somebody who have like been in therapy for years, it's like, but why am I like, I'm only more and more recently being like, but like, just becoming aware of it like now, like this sort, these like very like these, like you're saying the eye twitches of like, okay, but they're like, it's just too much coffee. Like I need
the soul, the soul knows all. So it's going to allow you to walk to the edge of the cliff. It's going to show you what's down there, but it will never let you fall as long as you trust it.
I honestly feel like I am like in the middle of two spiritual giants, and I'm honestly trying to keep up right now. This is amazing. It's truly amazing.
Well, and what I see in the experience that you had and what you're talking about, which we can use any kind of English word for what you're describing, this process of, I would say, becoming who you really are, right? A deeper version of yourself. When you've done these things, we are asking, why is my eye twitching? You have a deep somatic understanding of the causes and conditions of your life. So when you end up in a bank robbery, you've done so much work understanding what Jung would call your subconscious, that you're not all of a sudden brought into this fight or flight thing and everybody else around you is sobbing and freaking out, but you've done so, you have a deep understanding of—
I'm standing in my super ego, I'm standing in this, the id, the ID, the identity of who I am, I'm not bogged down by the ego. I'm not bogged down by fear and all of these symptoms of living in the ego. I'm standing in the I am as all that I am, and it's powerful. It truly is. It's when you do such, you're tapping into infinity, into an infinite source that literally you can't escape. Everything you see, everything you hear is a part and connected and intertwined to this source.
I think a lot of our world is dictated by our perception. Yeah. And our perception is dictated by our senses. But if we really, that's such a limited way of thinking of the universe.
What happens when things happen beyond our senses?
That's only five. That's only five senses. That's only five things to dictate. There's so many things that the universe could be. That's five things that are happening. That's impossible. That's really?
Yeah.
And really? KRS-One taught me something extraordinary. Actually, a couple of days ago, he said, "I can show you your soul if you want to divulge. Would you like to?"
Yeah, please.
I'm going to do it too. So let's all shut our eyes real quick, right?
Okay, here we go.
And so you're going to say out loud, well, not out loud, you're going to say within, "Hi, I'm," and then say your name. And we're going to do this in 3, 2, 1. There you have it. It's about that simple. That is who you are. That is who you trust. Anytime that you spend outside of that, and following that voice. And you're going to get really good at being able to hear your voice and not allowing other voices that are being sent your way to knock you off course. You're going to get really good at hearing your true voice.
You know what's funny? Okay, I want to talk about this real quick because this is a really funny medium. This is a really funny medium to be saying this because one, we're a podcast talking to other people's like through voices, right? But I've been thinking about this a lot, right? Because especially because of like what's going on in the world, and with Trump and all that stuff, and all politics and how the males guidance and all that stuff like that, right? And obviously, I've told you earlier, and I don't know if you knew this, but I've been working in podcasting for many years, and I felt very lost after the election, all stuff of being like, did I kind of create the end of the world with podcasting? Right? Like, did I kind of ruin society by like platforming podcasting? And I can definitely name did I do this? Right?
I blame you personally. I don't know where you stand,
I may or may not have like.
I feel like this was Adam actually.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's funny. And I, to me, podcasting was always something to like. It helped me feel not alone, right? And stuff. And I feel like that maybe was the case for a lot of people, and maybe especially men who have trouble communicating to other men. That said, I remember very specifically, maybe earlier this in 2024, I was talking to this guy. And I found him to be so weird, but I keep thinking about it. And I'm like, I think he might have been a genius. Because I'm like, and I was just talking to him, I was like, oh, I do podcasting. He was like, oh, okay. So like, it's like, oh, I don't really listen to podcasts. I'm like, you don't listen to podcasts? I was like, that's crazy. Like, they're so popular. Like, they're so, like, and he seemed like a dude. He's like, nah, man, like, I don't like other people's voices in my head. Like, I don't like other men's voices in my head. I was like, what? That's crazy. He's like, nah, man, like, I like to read. I like my own voice. And I just keep thinking about that. I'm like, the way when we read and when we create our own stories, and I think reading is so magical in that when we create our own pictures in our own minds, when people tell us stories and we create our own images rather than being told a story and seeing somebody else's own vision, I think it unlocks something in our brain that actually literally elevates us to a different level that when we are fed through our senses that limits us.
It's actually beyond the brain. It's something in your energetic field that is being blocked because there are technologies that keep you down, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
And so you end up getting blocked in your energetic field is what it is. It's beyond the brain. It's actually when you learn to use your brain in perfect harmony with your heart, then that's when you begin breaking free from this we'll call it a matrix. Per Neo comment.
Yeah.
And when you we're talking about knowing oneself, which doesn't necessarily mean like I'm this way. It's also an understanding of, wow, I have like, let's say, infinite potential. If you believe in the idea of a soul or a spirit, that's a mysterious aspect of myself that is beautiful and magical. And as society, we don't like mystery. Like Western culture needs the answer to every single thing that happens. But when you do that, you lose wonder. And wonder is very important to keep your heart alive. Like children have wonder, and we consider that to be sort of embarrassing. When the reality is like they have a much more magical existence. And I'm not saying like don't use your intelligence. Like you're saying, there's an important balance between those two things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Between your masculine energy and feminine energy.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
but don't lose. Because that leads to cynicism, profound unhappiness.
Yes.
Me personally, like, when it comes to podcasts, the internet is just a tool. It's an extremely
100%.
Powerful tool. So it's up to each one of us to be, hopefully, I do my best with this, be discriminating about or discerning about what it is that I listen to. So I actually listen to a lot of female podcasts. I listen to a lot of like spiritual shit because it keeps me calm. It's pretty funny because I'll be listening to like Eckhart Tolle and then I'll go and go do some stand up, and someone will be like, so then I got fisted or whatever. Like, it's a real, and all it takes is a little bit of open-mindedness to get into these sort of ideas that can bring you a deeper level of understanding about your.
Oh yeah.
And so you can like I don't know. I exist in a very real world. I am married. I have a dog. I live in a home in California. All of these things, and also I get to experience a world in which a depth of peace that I never knew was possible is actually, and that's partially because it's been modeled by other human beings. And the place where you are, I think, is close. And I say this because KRS-One is in a lineage of deep teachers and wisdom passed down for a very, very, very long time. You speak in metaphors. Prophets speak in metaphors. And it's important for prophets to come along to show us that what you're experiencing is a seed that is within everybody. And the problem is it gets corrupted by religious institutions, all this hierarchical shit. So
that leads me to what I wanted to say along the lines of, so as we look at these figures, right? And we look with the wrong lenses, right? We look as though they have something that I want, but I can't have it because it's not mine, because I'm looking at it. So we have to dissolve that thinking, that style of thinking, because that's where the ego lives, right? When we look at somebody that inspires us, allow yourself to be inspired, because that's the seed, the inspiration, to know that this is another living, walking, talking human being who has accomplished everything that I have set out to accomplish. It's actually the universe telling you, hey, you're on the right path. Just keep going.
Yeah, and it's all practice, too. It's like playing guitar or anything else. At first, it's all weird. Your hands are all strange. But then all of a sudden, you start to experience this thing where you're like, oh, I feel more in tune with my heart and with my mind as well. And you can have these really, really beautiful expanding.
And that's when you really start to hear the symphony that's being played all around you,
and
all hours of every day.
Yep. And you could start saying no, like Neo in the Matrix, to the robberies.
Yeah, these bank robbers aren't going to fuck up my day. Like, it's just exactly right. It's just another dude walking. It's another guy walking through my screen who's going to be gone in a little while.
All right. Well, this has been truly just this has been a magical interview, guys. And we are coming to sort of the kind of longer end of the show here. I don't want to cut us off too much. We're going to do our final game, our game right now, called our famous game called Wild Opinions. It's a Wild Opinions. We're pulled from the internet, aka Reddit, where people voice their wild opinions. You guys will tell me if you agree or disagree with these opinions. They may or may not be picked specifically for Gabriel the Angel to disagree or agree with, to see how you guys agree with. But we can
get my truth.
Yeah, I want all of your truth. Again, thank you so much for donating your time here with us, Gabriel, and more as well. This has been honestly so fascinating.
Thanks,
but the show is not over yet. This is one of my favorite parts of the show. So here we go. Tell me if you agree or disagree. All right. We need to stop acting like we're not above people who record concerts or event footage. Yes, they too are living in the moment. How do you guys feel? You agree?
I agree.
You agree?
Man, let that person record that thing so he can live in that night for the rest of his life. Let that person live.
What if it's obscuring your view with like a giant iPad?
Well, then you can politely say, hey, this is obscuring my view. And then if he goes and persists and proceeds, then you know what you have to do. Either you move out of his way or you clock him clean out.
Yes.
That's up to you.
You clock him. Oh, you're suggesting violence. That's an interesting one.
Whatever you want to do.
Also, when you said giant iPad, I pictured an iPad the size of a mattress. Just like that person you have to talk to. Be like,
gigantic iPad. Like a... Yeah.
But you're right. That's my thing. Is like, look,
and it grows and looks over the huge iPad.
And for me, it's like, I know I love to feel better than other people. Yes. I just do. My brain goes like, yo, like this person's dumb. That's the ego's job, right? So just acknowledging that, like, okay, And then once you set a boundary for yourself, you're like, hey, could you move that? You won't be feeling that judgmental rage anymore because you spoke up for yourself.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I don't know how I think there is with this conversation in particular, I'm feeling motivated to accept this, but there is just something about seeing a concert full of people holding their phones that is so saddening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, use your eyes rather than a camera's eyes. There is something to be said of being like, why are we doing this? Especially considering like the camera's not really that good. You're not capturing it that well.
Yes.
What are you really capturing? Like, maybe a picture maybe could be cool, but like, are you? And then because we all been there. We've all been shown the video. We've all been subjected to the 30 fucking Instagram stories that you have to click through, being like, God damn it, we don't care about Odessa this much, man. Why are you showing this Bruce Springsteen? It's the same song. Cool flex, bro.
They're
you
this
went to
big,
Coachella.
This is like the boss at all. He's this tiny. You're like, yeah, totally.
I mean,
that's different than
I did not know you like Drake this much at this point in time. That's crazy.
Well, and that's different what the question said, though. We need to stop acting like we're better than. Because what you're saying is that also needs to be honored. It's legitimate. Like, this is all fucking, we're now inextricable with corporations. That's the rough thing about cell phones. You know what I mean?
It's your truth, dude. And that's the key is it's to honor your truth.
Yes.
Because that's what's going to align.
Yes.
That keeps everything in alignment.
Yeah.
The defining factor is this, though. Love wins. That's it.
Yeah.
No matter what your truth is, love conquers everything.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And I love flexing that I went to a Paul McCartney concert.
It's the greatest love there is. Flexing that love.
Love is all you need.
Being in a Paul McCartney.
All right. Next one. It's beef until we die. You most certainly don't need to forgive everyone that did you wrong.
Oh, I strongly disagree. I think holding on to the resentment is basically shackling yourself up. It's basically giving somebody a chain that they can tie around your neck, drag you all along. See, I don't forgive for them.
That's right.
I forgive for me.
Mm-hmm.
First. And of course, there's some reasons for them why I forgive, whatever.
Right.
But I forgive for me first,
And that's because Gabriel wants to be feeling that peace immediately after the bank robbery. Because there's another world where he's still angry, upset, and afraid, but won't acknowledge it to himself because he doesn't want to appear afraid about this traumatic experience that he had. But this
shit's fucked up,
right? What forgiving is just allowing the thing that's gone to actually be gone.
Yeah.
And it's a practice. I sure shit don't do it perfectly, and it's just something you work on.
It is like truly letting it go.
And then there's, I don't know, and then there's the Kendrick thing.
You get some amazing art. You get not like us. But what do you agree?
I think that is
you go beef until we die.
Oh, that's up to each individual. Like, it depends. I mean, I think
each individual beef.
Yeah, okay. Totally. But I think you're right. I think if you're unable to forgive, then you will continue to live with that burden. But also sometimes it's fun. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's fun to talk shit. A lot of times, that's my whole. Dude, I love talking shit. I basically do it professionally.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, as a comedian, it's kind of your job. It's hard for it to not be your job.
Yeah.
It sucks, actually.
That's right. So
it's like one of the most toxic professions.
So it might seem like I'm coming from a place of like judging people who are resentful, but I have been wildly resentful through parts of my life.
Dude,
you know
what is so important or what is so profound to me is the fact that you can take it all the way there, yet not fall into that. You know what I mean? You can relinquish all these negative things, yet not be a negative person. That's a skill, and that's a real skill,
Yeah.
Whereas me, in the way that I'm wired and the way that I'm built, I can't let it out because it will consume me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I will become enraged by it.
Yeah.
Just hearing it,
It's true. Yeah.
hearing that this person did this to me, hearing that, oh, I'll be consumed by it.
Yep.
You know, so I have to swallow it, internalize it, come to a state of peace, and then allow that to be what comes out. You know, because if I just act on impulse, oh, I'm out for blood.
That's true. Like comedy is a little bit of like just letting the steam out of the kettle a little bit sometimes. That's what it's letting the tension out. That's sometimes it's a coping mechanism for some people for that reason.
And what you're saying is so mature, dude. You know what I mean? Do you ever feel like there aren't really any adults around because everybody's just online being like, fuck off, you know? But what you're talking about is the ability, that's what you would want in like a good parent, is somebody the ability to like process something, not react through, you know, immediately, and then be like,
rethinking their situations.
Taking a little time.
Like you say, though, Mort, it's a work in progress. It's every day I have this opportunity to grow and to become better at it. And for some people, when they look at eternity, they see a jail sentence. I look at it and I see the most freeing thing. You mean I get to know me forever? There's nothing better. And I get forever to get it right? Oh, wow. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
I mean, we're already getting to know you and it's already pretty beautiful. All right, here we go. Eating kiwis with the skin on is good.
Yo, I did that this morning.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I'm not kidding. My wife basically put a kiwi with skin on it in my mouth.
Yes.
I didn't know.
You never done that before?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know until I moved out here you could eat it with the skin on it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think it's like such a waste of time not to. It's actually like crazy not to. It's like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, it's actually, to me, it's like one of those things of like, it's unfathomable to try to skin it. I don't even know how to do that.
Like I even took that formula to Starbursts.
No, Gabriel, no. You're not eating the paper on these Starbursts. Gabriel, no.
But I don't need
too
Starbursts.
far.
Wait.
Too far, Gabriel. Too far.
Wait.
He's saying he eats the paper in
You're
the
eating
Starburst.
the paper in Starburst. What the hell? You don't find peace.
Breed.
You're constipated, bro.
I'm a different breed. Thank God for detoxing now. So
I like how to me that's the craziest thing you've said all day. Because everything else on 1 minute, that's the only thing I haven't told
you. Hey man, you posting a video during a robbery is cool, but you eating the paper Starburst is too crazy, bro.
Too dangerous.
I think I just became arch enemy number one for a lot.
No, actually, it's actually really funny. There's this guy I used to know who would eat things that you don't typically eat. And people would get like, he would talk about it and he would get so like smug and like, just like, it's like, dude, that is insane. Like he eats the shrimp tails. Shrimp tail, like the whole shrimp. Just eats the whole shrimp.
One time when I was little, my dad gave me an apple. We were on this like little hike near the Missouri River, and he goes, and I was like, I'm done with it. I get apple core. He goes, give me that, and you just ate the whole apple core.
This dude eats the whole shrimp tails, eats the whole apple.
Isn't that a weird? That's like dealing with a monster. That's like
yes, and he eats the whole strawberry with the leaves, and it's like it's like you have to be fucking with people at this point.
Yeah.
And
like
eventually, after dealing with the monster for so long, you're gonna become the monster.
Yeah. It's like, do you eat the whole chicken, dude? Like, do you eat the bone? Like, what the fuck is wrong? Are you a goat? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, just biting the top off a can of beans or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, you need to open that.
Kiwis is delicious. All right. Capitalism is awesome. Capitalism is awesome. This is a real person that posted this. I did not. Real capitalism is awesome. The reason why they said this is, yes, corporations is killing the planet is terrible. Yes, but owning stuff is great. That's why this person said this.
Yeah. And naturally, there's been a level of capitalism, even when it was bartering, it was still capitalistic in nature. When you look at nature capitalizes on itself. It has to in order to survive. And so I feel as though capitalism it's a beautiful thing when done properly. The way that the states are set up right now, of course, it's flip side. It seems as though everything is the opposite to where it should be, from the rainbow to capitalism, the 1% being on top when the 99's on the bottom. That's polar opposite, of how it was designed. And naturally, order is restoring itself. And so yeah, capitalism is a beautiful thing. We ought to capitalize on our talents, on our gifts, on our dreams, on our our energy. That's what we're created to do, is to capitalize, to create the life and bring forth the kingdom of heaven to earth. You have to capitalize on your dreams.
I love where the rainbow's at personally. I feel like capitalism for me, it's fine. It's like anything else. It's fine. It's just wildly out of balance.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Yes.
Where it's we fucking replaced God with money. You know what I mean? And so what happens is we can only know each other's worth by assigning monetary value to it, which implies that we actually don't have any worth.
Right.
Which is just a profound
We're not born with worth.
misconception.
We have to earn it.
Yeah, and so it's hierarchical. And then capitalism, it's now where it was going to go forever, where capitalism, in my opinion, can't help but end up this way, which is like a game of Monopoly where the people it just ends up with one person with all the money and nobody has any money. So like you're saying, it's going to eventually
when we look at the way that the world is right now, it's covered in 99% darkness, right? Because of the way that it's been shaped. And so when understanding some of the laws of the universe, to every action, there's an equal yet opposite reaction. And so because the world has been so dark for so long, what do you think is going to happen? That's when the universe sends somebody like me in, to help restore that balance. I'm not saying that I'm saying that I'm a part in this, to restore light. And in order for this to take place, we're going to have a lot of time in the golden ages. We're going to have to spend a lot of time in the light. And that's what people are holding on to so dearly is the fact that, yeah, things are restoring, and it's by design, and there's nothing that can be done about it. And the more that people try to fight what's happening naturally, they're just going to hurt themselves, and that's what they have yet to realize. It's like the devil exists because it's truly building God's kingdom. It's doing all the hard work, the devil, right? It's carrying all the heavy energies. It's carrying the whole thing on its back while God sits there and watches. And then when God says it's time, now you drop my stuff and give it right back to me, It's beautiful, this process that's happening.
Yeah, and when you talk about the devil like that, I'm reminded about what we were talking about in the beginning, which is these aspects of self that we consider to be lower natures, but are built on. It's all a desire to survive, right? That's where a lot of these, like you're saying, somebody's back is up against the wall, they're capable of anything. That comes from a place of survival, which is where we all inherently come from. We're just designed, I believe, to continue to evolve. And what you're talking about is like a new sort of evolution that is based in love. And I don't know why you wouldn't believe that people are evolving. Like, do you really look around and like, yeah, we got it all pretty figured out. This is probably the end. You know what I mean? We probably are proud as good as we can possibly be. But I don't think, I think we're moving to a space that
we haven't scratched the surface.
Yeah, I fully agree.
If we're looking at the human intelligence, we have to view it as an iceberg, and we're solely on the tip of the iceberg. I mean, the iceberg goes far down, very far down. And to those of whom are trustworthy enough or that can handle the integration of some of these aspects, these supernatural aspects, if you will, they're going to be revealed unto it, because it's about trust. The universe has to trust you in order to really spill her secrets.
That's I honestly forgot what the question was. That was honestly so
about capitalism.
This is amazing. Capitalism, owning stuff is great, but maybe we just need to, it's gotten a little out of hand. Let's end on this one, which I think is kind of an interesting one for us to all end on. Everyone is so insecure about their wisdom these days. Do you agree or disagree about people being insecure about their wisdom?
I would want to know what that person means by wisdom.
Yeah.
That's I would like to ask that person that question.
Let's see.
Because you can define one of my favorite definitions of wisdom is the perfect marriage of love and knowledge. I like that for wisdom.
Well, this person says there is currently no way to cut a person down faster than to call them naive. It's worse than being called ugly or stupid at this point. It invalidates their experience and opinions in a unique, patronizing way. Oh, hun, you just don't know any better yet. Have a cookie. Everyone wants to seem like someone who's been through a lot, who's wise and jaded from the harsh world, whose cynical hot takes are formed from firsthand experience, not secondhand observations. So essentially saying like, like if a young person says, this is my experience, and then like somebody's like, oh, you just don't know yet.
I see. Because that person, it sounds to me, they are literally equating wisdom and cynicism in there.
Yes.
Which I think is, which I think it's actually the opposite. But I understand what they're saying too, which is it sounds like they don't feel respected by their elders.
To me, it seemed like someone would hear our conversation with Gabriel the Angel here, and like, which sounds like something wise. And a cynical person would come in being like, well, you don't know enough about this. They would, and their wisdom
form
would
of
become
gaslighting is all it is. It's minimizing the experience that another being is experiencing, which is gaslighting, because you don't have the confidence within yourself to trust yourself. And so henceforth, you don't trust what anybody else is saying because you don't have the foundation. You don't have the centerpiece yet. I encourage you to soul search, and I encourage you to really look inwards and to answer the questions as to why you feel that somebody would be naive to life, or maybe they're experiencing life more than you, and that offends you, and so your first rebuttal is to say, oh, they're naive. They haven't experienced this yet.
Yeah.
Maybe they experienced it so much so to where it no longer bothers them.
I've heard cynicism called the tattered armor of the sensitive. I think behind every cynical person is a person who really wants to experience the ability to trust.
Yeah.
Or who has been, was once naive.
Yeah.
And has, was hurt.
It no longer feels safe to trust because they've had shit done to them. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the seed, because what's love without trust?
Yeah.
That's the seed.
Is that is that what the new album's called?
The new album. Y'all put me in a.
But what's love without trust feels like a very good chorus. I haven't even heard your music.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It's very
good. Redemption.
It's very good. But that's a perfect place to put it here. We've come to the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Gabriel the Angel, thank you so much for joining and donating your time. Mort, always a goddamn pleasure. But is there anything you would want to plug, Gabe, that you want people to know? Your TikTok, your music, anything you want people to know about?
Yeah. So every social platform you can find me. It's at Gabriel the Angel. The L on Angel is a 7. On TikTok, it's Trumpets in the Sky. And in terms of my music, it's streaming everywhere. The easiest place that you can find it is my website. It's GabrielTheAngelMusic.com. And I am so excited to begin to reveal myself. I am so excited to begin to share myself, my story, my journey. This is just the tip of the iceberg, as I would like to say. I would like to thank these two special gentlemen here for hearing my story and getting lost in it, getting lost and finding themselves in it. It's an amazing process. And, in terms of podcasts, if I am to watch a podcast, that was wild. Would be the podcast that I would check out.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
And check out my friend Mort here. He dropped a special on YouTube. It is called Spiritually Filthy. Wow. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing after I tap out of here.
That's awesome, man. Actually, real quick, we have to answer this question. Speaking of your journey and stuff, did you ever open that business account?
Dude. Everything's in motion, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Awesome.
Everything's in motion.
Amazing.
No, I did not. But I will say this. I got fired from my job. They let me go right after that.
From the steel
because
mill?
I had to take a few days off of work.
What?
Chase Bank banned me from the bank.
Wait.
Even though I was the victim in there.
Are you...
Dude, yeah. This is my life, bro.
Yo, the light is shining too bright, Gabriel. You can't.
This is my life.
Wait,
dude.
so after this video, Chase banned you?
Chase Bank banned me from the bank.
Oh my God.
For being in there, I guess, for recording it or doing something. I don't know.
That's fucking bullshit.
What I've come to terms with is this. Regardless of what I do, it's gonna offend somebody. So I might as well just do what I'm gonna do.
And then, you also lost your job because of this video too?
Yeah, they fired me after that, man.
What?
Dude, I don't know.
That's some
3
bullshit.
days after that, they fired me.
What the fuck, dude? That sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
So,
dude.
to be honest with you, no, I have not started my
Your business account yet?
business account. However, I have faith.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, we all do. Please, everybody, go follow him. Go support his music. You can find some of his music on his TikTok channel. It is fire. And go follow him. Please, thank you again, Gabriel the Angel, for donating your time, man. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Gabriel.
It's all mine.
Mort, is there anything you would like to plug?
Yeah, my wife and I have an excellent new podcast called Rebrand,
Yes.
comedy podcast. My wife is amazing, hilarious comedy writer. And every week we rebrand something new. We just did New Year's resolutions, which we decided were kind of trash.
They are kind of
You know what I mean? Like, what if we're just chill instead, actually? What if you're doing enough already and maybe you're fine?
Yeah, I ain't changed nothing.
I like what I like to do is a New Year's resolution in November.
Nice.
And then just kind of preemptive. And then it's like, it's just, I've been this way. You know what I mean?
I see.
What I'm working on right now is establishing the things that I do want to change, putting them into effect while things are dead right now. And then when springtime comes forth, beginning to harvest.
Also, go check out your special. It is amazing and hilarious. Spiritually Filthy. Everybody, please. It's 800-pound gorilla, right?
Yeah.
Please, everybody, go check that out. It's really, really fucking funny. And also, you can follow me at Adam R. Mac. I got videos coming out every one sketch a week. This year, that's something I'm working on. And you can follow this podcast at That Was Wild Pod for more social media videos, just like the one we did with Gabriel the Angel and Mort here. We're going to end the show like we always do. We're looking down the barrel of that camera right there. Gabe, you can look down the barrel of your camera, just down that one. Actually, you know what? This one, I just discovered this. You look down the barrel of this one.
Yeah, you got it.
And we'll look down that way. We're all looking down our individual cameras here.
Love it.
And we're going to say That Was Wild on the count of 3. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
That was wild.
It's time to get wild.
That was wild.
Recording in progress.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Mort, he's a goddamn, he's a legend. You should definitely go check out his stand-up special because
crap,
it truly is. It's so good. You really would enjoy it.
You'll like it.
Where can I find it?
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, if you just YouTube, you'll like it. It's called Spiritually Filthy. So there's some spiritual stuff in there.
Yeah, you'll definitely like it, man.
Same language.
Yeah, you'll be feeling
exactly. I really do think you would like it.
Yeah.
From what I've.
So if I just look up Spiritually Filthy, I'll find it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
It's on YouTube.
The moment I get done here.
And my podcast, Rebrand, with my beautiful wife is
all
great.
All right. Let's not take it too far.
I got shirts I can sell you. I got CDs in my mixtape.
He said nope.
I get something in my P.O. box.
CDRs of my...
a physical copy of
so funny.
Spiritually Filthy.
He's like, hey, can I come over for Thanksgiving? That'd be cool.